Hi, I'm Jody Kerrigan, the Assistant Curator of Primates here at Zoo Atlanta. And basically that just means I am a supervisor of our primates here. I'm really excited to talk about Ivan. Ivan was a Western lowland gorilla that I had the privilege of working with for 10 years while he was here at Zoo Atlanta. As a Western lowland gorilla, he lived in Africa, and that's where he was born. He was actually born in the wild. He was sold as a pet and lived in a home for several years of his life before moving to the B&I in Tacoma, Washington, where he spent about 27 years of his life at the B&I by himself. And then in 1994, he came to Zoo Atlanta, and that's where I was able to work with him here. Ivan has been made very popular by the book, The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. And it won the Newbery Medal, and it's now being turned into a movie, which is pretty amazing, especially because Ivan lived here at Zoo Atlanta for 18 years. And before that, he was at the B&I. In the book, it was called the Big Top Mall. And every day we have people coming here asking about Ivan and what he was like. Just the other day, I was in one of the habitats setting up for the gorillas, and one of the girls pointed and said, "You took care of Ivan." So it's really special that we were able to work with him and just form a very strong bond. When I first started here in 2003, I don't know what it was, but immediately we had a connection. And he followed me. He just wanted to spend a lot of time with me. And it worked out really well. He was such a unique gorilla. He wasn't your typical gorilla because of his upbringing. He had a lot of human qualities about him, which is not normal for a gorilla. And it just made him very unique and very special. When Ivan first got to Zoo Atlanta, he had a whole different situation that he had to deal with. So he lived for 27 years indoors. And so when he got to Zoo Atlanta, he had the wind, he had the rain, he had snow, he had all of those different elements that he's not used to. And he had to figure out how to handle that pretty quickly. Unfortunately, he did not prefer the outdoors when it was raining outside, or when it was cold outside, or when it was wet. Or even just a little bit of dew on the grass, he was not a fan of. And so when we would open the door for him to have the option of going outside, he always wanted to stay indoors. So I was trying to figure, what can we do? Everything here has to look naturalistic. So one thing that I was able to do was I reached out to a coffee roaster, and the coffee beans come in burlap bags. So I was able to get some of those. It looks a little naturalistic, and I offered them to him. And believe it or not, he would step on it. And then he would take another bag and put it in front of him and step on that, and then take the one he just sat on and then put it in front of him after that. So he just did that until he got to the location that he wanted to be in, and then he would be fine. And then, of course, in true Ivan fashion, he would always put the burlap on his head, and he would just be sitting there looking at everybody and enjoying the outdoor area. He would look like a ghost. Painting in general is what we consider a form of enrichment. Kids, when they go to school, that is a form of enrichment. When I read the newspaper, that's a form of enrichment. It's something to keep your mind stimulated and occupied at times and learning. And so painting is one of many forms of enrichment that we do here at Zoo Atlanta, and not everybody is really into painting. So for the gorillas, for instance, we create a device made out of PVC, and there's a paintbrush that's attached to the end of it. And normally what happens is we're not able to give them the entire brush, but they use the PVC and maneuver the PVC to paint on that canvas. And so that's one of the ways that most of our gorillas will paint. If I were to give another gorilla a canvas, they would just break it and destroy it. But Ivan was so gentle with it. Ivan, of course, was just unique and different, and we were able to give him everything. And then when he was finished painting, he would give it right back and not destroy anything. In the book, he was really well known for his painting. His painting is one of the things that got him recognized and noticed, so that he was able to get out of the BNI, or the Big Top Mall. And when I first started, I had asked someone, I said, had anyone painted with him? Because I did some research on him, and sure enough, they said no one's ever painted with him. So I asked if I could try. I went out, I bought some canvas, I bought brushes, I bought paper, I bought paints. I had no clue, how he painted or what he did. And so sure enough, he followed me right away. He saw the paints, he saw the canvas. What I was able to do was put paint on the canvas. I gave it to him, and he would paint, whether it be with his fingers, sometimes his tongue, or his lips, or the paintbrush. And he just knew he was like a Picasso. He knew what he had to do with it, what he wanted to create. We got to the point where I was able to hold out all of the colors for paints, and he would point to which color he wanted to use. And so then I would put that on the canvas, give it to him, and then that's how we kind of ended up doing our painting routine. And sure enough, every time he picked red. That was why we said Ivan probably, we think, is his favorite color was red, because he picked red every single time. And so even if he just painted with red, we would keep it in the selection, and he would pick it again. So soon we realized we had to leave it out of the choice selection, and he made some different varieties of colors. He has options of being wherever he wants to go. He can be indoors, he can be outdoors. At one point, he had 4 females with him, 4 gorilla companions. And of course, these are the opportunities that Ivan had a chance at here at Zoo Atlanta. So we were able to let him live like a gorilla and be a gorilla, which is exactly what anybody could ask for. The average lifespan for a gorilla in a zoological institution for a male is 32 and a half, and for a female is 37. Ivan lived till he was 50 years old. That is an amazing lifetime for a gorilla. That's like a 100-year-old human. So he lived to be 50 years old, which is pretty amazing. Ivan, we always think of as a great ambassador for his species of the gorillas. The gorillas, and all gorillas, are critically endangered, which means there's not a lot of time left to help them out. The next category after critically endangered is extinct. I always say endangered means there's still time, extinct is forever. So it's really important, and we have a capability of helping out in this realm where we're able to help their species. And just Ivan being part of this book, and just everybody knowing Ivan in their household, just brings light about gorillas. People are learning about gorillas, they know about Ivan, they want to learn more about gorillas, which makes him the perfect ambassador. I couldn't have thought of a better ambassador for gorillas than Ivan, our gorilla here at Zoo Atlanta.